He's been busy since the McKinney fight with knockout wins over Jesse Benavidez and Orlando Fernandez. And now let's go to Michael Buffer for the intros.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Forum Boxing in association with your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, present World Championship Boxing 12 rounds for the WBO Junior Featherweight Championship of the World. Sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission and the World Boxing Organization. California Chairman William Eastman. All other California Commission members remain the same. The WBO president is Francisco Barcarcel, and WBO supervisor at ringside is California Commission Vice Chairman Willie Buchanan. The three judges scoring this bout on a 10-point must system are Lou Filippo, Larry Rosadilla, and Jesus Arias Torres. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, your referee, Robert Byrd. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the Great Western Forum here in Englewood, California, ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trimmed with white and weighing 122 pounds. His professional record is 18 victories with 8 by knockout. Against 4 losses and 2 draws, he comes to us from Fresno, California. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the #1 ranked WBO Junior Featherweight in the world, the challenger, Jesse El Cuervo Magaña. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white, red and green, and weighing 122 pounds also. His professional record, a perfect one. 42 victories without a loss, 30 by knockout, and he is recognized as one of the best fighters in the world today. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, presenting the undefeated WBO Junior Featherweight Champion of the World, Marco Antonio Barrera.
Okay. I gave you instructions in the dressing room. The only thing I'm going to tell you now is when I tell you to stop, you stop whatever you're doing, okay? When I tell you to break, I want you to break and break clean. Protect yourselves at all times. Listen to my commands and obey them at all times. Let's do it.
As young as Barrera is, guys, I don't think he's capable of just putting his body out there. He's body and soul every single fight. It's what makes him the fighter he is.
Well, when he stepped up in his first performance following the McKinney fight, a lot of people are watching closely to see what damage may have been done. It was exactly 3 months and 1 day later, and he was sensational in knocking out Jesse Benavidez, quality southpaw veteran, in the 3rd round in Anaheim. They touch gloves at the center of the ring. The nickname for Jesse Magaña on his trunks is Cuervo, not the tequila, the bird. It means crow in Spanish. And he says his friends call him the Crow because his legs are so skinny. Hard to tell because of the length and the generosity of those black sequin trunks.
I hope he doesn't trip over them in this fight.
Hard right hand inside by Barrera, and at the opening outset, he stuns Magaña.
Magaña's sort of straight up. He's backing straight back almost. And he's going to run into a lot of Barrera's overhand rights tonight. Just like that.
He thinks Barrera has trouble with southpaws. There is no empirical evidence on the record to support that. One of the first things you notice about Roy is how relaxed he is in the ring.
Yeah, Barrera always is so relaxed. He shows no facial expressions.
His body's always loose. His reflexes are sharp. When an opening is there, he releases punches. I've seen him land 2 hard right crosses already in the first minute of the first round.
Oh, that was a good left hand by Magana.
Yeah, straight left hand by Jesse Magana, who led with it rather than trying to set it up with the jab. Well, they always say fire your right hand lead against a southpaw. The opposite side of that coin is the southpaw coming with his left hand lead. Barrera gets the better of the toe-to-toe exchange. Crowd rises. Magana backs up. A minute to go in round 1. Marco Antonio stalking a knockout.
A lot of this is happening because Magana's head is straight up.
Just not enough head movement against an accurate puncher like Barrera.
That's right. It's much easier to hit a steel target.
He ducked under those last 2 right hands. Let's see if he's gone to school and learned something that he can use in this fight.
Magana much steadier in the last 45 seconds of the round after he ate a lot of leather from Marco Antonio Barrera.
And he shows no fear.
Barrera nods to his young opponent as if to say, good work, kid.
And our interpreter in both corners is Ray Torres.
All right, very intelligent. You're an intelligent man. You didn't get cut. Everything's okay. You need to box with intelligence. Make him miss and then counter. You need, Jesse, you need to counter him. You need to go inside and counter him. Don't throw the uppercut.
Here they go at it at the end of the round as Magana makes his statement that he's going to stay a while.
Well, it was very close to being Magana for Magana. But he lives to fight another round. Marco Antonio Barrera in round 1 punched at numbers 72 attempted, 40 landed.
The one thing I like about Barrera so much is that he's so economical. That was a good left hand by Magana.
Have to land a lot of punches to get to Barrera. One thing he showed against McKinney is he's got a pretty good chin, although he was down in the bout. Barrera working to the body now here early in the second round after doing most of the damage upstairs in round 1.
This is to get Magana to drop his hand some so that Barrera can start to land the overhand right.
McKinney, after 12 rounds, quite an authority on Marco Antonio Barrera's punching power, said he doesn't have that kind of lights-out, explosive one-punch punching power that you see in some dangerous fighters, but he hurts you because he commits to every punch. The net effect is heavy hands.
That's right. All the punches have about the same power on them.
Magana in trouble and comes back off the ropes. Magana nodding at Barrera as if to say, yeah, you've got stuff, but I can take it.
You know, you mentioned the word commitment. That's what makes great fighters, because you can't drive a car from the back seat. You got to be right up there with your foot on the pedal.
Yeah, and Barrera's as willing as they come. He's such a quiet kid, Barrera. And when you talk to him outside the ring, it's hard to gauge his arrogance, but you see it when he fights.
Very much so. Superb defense by Barrera.
All right, Jesse, you got to breathe deeply. Don't stand still. That's why he's hitting you down. You need to move right. You got to listen to me, Jesse. You have to move. Don't stay on the ropes. You need to move around. You can't. Another thing. You got to feint him. When you make him miss, then you get...
Good right hand underneath, as you saw by Barrera, followed by a good left underneath. He'll take what you give him, and he'll take what you don't want to give him.
At the end of round 2, you talked to us about Barrera's defense, Roy. Set it up again.
His defense is so well illustrated here that he stands right in front of this guy, blocks everything the guy throws at him for about at least a 30-second period of time right there. That is very, very, very confident taking from another guy. Magana now realizes why Barrera is a champion. I guarantee you.
Barrera's head is fairly stationary when he stands and examines you and gets ready to punch, but he can roll with punches. He's got the rolling shoulders.
Just as he did right there. That's an excellent right body shot Barrera keeps hitting Magana with. That ought to wear Magana down in the late round.
If you're Kennedy McKinney and you're focusing on that rematch somewhere down the road, do you want to come sit ringside and watch this, Roy, or is it better to ignore it?
You best to ignore it.
He's had a better seat than ringside to see Barrera.
You may see something that you don't want to see if you come here and watch it.
Magana showing a good chin. He's taken some heavy artillery from Barrera and continues to throw back, not landing with the same degree of accuracy as the young Mexican star, because Barrera, as we told you, is at age 22, one of the most accurate punchers in the sport. What a vintage period for boxing. Below the heavyweight division, you have at 168 pounds Roy Jones, seated next to me, has gifted a fighter who's ever lived. De La Hoya at 140, headed ultimately for 147. And Marco Antonio Barrera at 122 pounds. Those are three glorious stars.
And Trinidad and Corte ain't bad either.
Well said. Barrera with the right hand lead.
Magana has a very big heart. He doesn't care what happens. He's still in there. He wants Barrera to recognize his presence.
Now, Magana is not the kind of guy you're going to start with one punch. You got to bust him up gradually. That's what Barrera will do.
dado el pasito atrás, te lo haces fallar. Está bien así. O sea que no te quedas ahí.
You need to take that step back, make and miss.
Trabaja los óperes también.
You got to keep working those uppercuts. They're working very well. Keep doing that. If you need to, you got to keep going with those uppercuts.
That's an example.
You need to breathe well. Keep breathing well. You need to be throwing that left hand. Oh, make sure you throw those combinations, left, rights, and the uppercut.
What you saw in Barrera's corner was the need for a trainer to talk to a fighter who's fighting an almost perfect fight. What can you tell him?
Nothing.
Do what you're doing.
3 rounds in the books. Scheduled 12, junior featherweight title fight between the title holder Marco Antonio Barrera in the white trunks and the challenger Jesse Magana in the black. Harold Lederman, as you see, scoring each of the first 3 rounds for the champion.
I hate to tell you this, guys, but somewhere up there in the stands, there are some people fighting.
Well,
I thought we were past that.
They're missing some good action in the ring.
Barrera is jabbing, then he's feinting at Magana, making him commit, and then he attacks him with these big punches.
Another look at Barrera's defensive skills there as Magana launched 4 or 5 power shots in a row and Barrera casually ducked them.
Then he throws some excellent counter punches when Magana misses with the big punches.
Pick him up. Pick up big punches. Let's go. Box.
Barrera, who's been known to deliver low blows, he was warned for it in the McKinney fight. And McKinney mentioned yesterday to us that one thing he would be careful to do in their rematch is to hit Barrera low when Barrera gets below his board.
One thing Barrera is doing here that I love to see in a right-hander is when you fight a southpaw, they are so adjusted to you throwing the straight right until you have to start looping the right a little. And Barrera is making that adjustment like a professional.
Boy, there are a lot of people who think that the way to fight a southpaw is with your own left rather than those inviting right hands like that.
Magana landed a left hand. Keep going.
The reason you really don't fight him with your own left is because every time you miss him with your left, he can hit you with his right because it's right on top of your left.
What's your best performance ever against a southpaw, Roy?
Antoine Bird. Made him make one mistake, then I rushed him.
Did you loop that right hand a little bit to get at him?
Yes, I did. You have to.
That was a first-round knockout in your hometown of Pensacola, Florida.
One thing with Magana here, if he were to throw more looping left hands at Barrera, it would work the same way. But he's only throwing a straight right. That's why Barrera can block it so easily.
Magana had some success about a minute ago when he was able to pull Barrera against the ropes. Now Barrera lures him back in.
That was a good straight left by Magana.
Sneaked it between Barrera's guard. Magana does better when he comes straight up the middle against Barrera,
that was
as he did right there.
This is an excellent
trickle
fight.
of blood around the right nostril of Marco Antonio Barrera.
Harold Lederman, 4 rounds.
Larry, 40-36. 4 rounds to nothing. The baby-faced assassin, Marco Antonio Barrera. I think Barrera is killing him with those body shots. To me, the secret to this fight is that Jesse Magana is making one big fatal mistake. He's standing right in front of Barrera. He continues to stand in front of Barrera, even though his corner tells him to move. You can't beat Marco just standing there. Marco's the second coming of Dick Tiger. Flat-footed, a vicious hook, every punch a power punch.
Make sure you have the lateral movement. Don't stand there in front.
Harold reaching back more than 3 decades for the Dick Tiger analogy. And crossing the vast Atlantic Ocean to get all the way from Mexico to Nigeria for that one. Very good, Harold. the game Jesse Magana. El Cuervo, the Crow.
If he could block some of Barrera's punches, this would be a very good fight. But if he continues to get hit as much as he is, Barrera's punches are going to start to show. Like that.
Magana trying to come back. Barrera blocks both punches with his gloves. That time Magana able to get his left glove in the way of Barrera's right hand.
That right hook is working Magana so much until he doesn't know what to do about it. Barrera is a well-schooled professional fighter.
Terrific, bloodthirsty combination, mixing the body and the head. Just terrific stuff from Barrera.
Yes, it is. I don't think Magana should stay in this corner because Barrera can trap him up here. Another thing Barrera does is he jabs, he steps to the outside, then he can shoot the right hook or he can throw the straight right, whichever one he sees when he steps out there.
Barrera, for his part, says his strategy against a southpaw is simply to keep stepping to the right and digging the right hand to the body.
He steps to the right to cut him off. There again, he steps to the left and landed the right hook. It'll land all day.
Swelling on the bridge of Magana's nose, up close to his eyes.
One other thing that my father always taught me was to back a southpaw up. Here, Barrera keeps backing Magana up, and he's wearing him out like this.
Why back a southpaw up as opposed to a conventional fighter? They're not used to it?
They're not used to backing up, and they can't operate as well. Once you get inside of their hands, they can't operate as well if they're backing up.
So southpaws are accustomed to being the aggressor because conventional fighters so often have difficulty facing guys from that side.
Right.
But you can see that Magana is accustomed to being the aggressor, as he told us he would be in this fight.
Yeah, but he wasn't being the aggressor, and that's why Barrera is beating him so bad.
It's awfully tough to be the aggressor when you get hit this hard and this often. A night at the office for 22-year-old Marco Antonio Barrera.
Marco, you're doing well. Just keep it up.
No.
Don't try to knock him out. Don't get over anxious. You're doing well. You're winning the fight.
Sí, está bien.
Everything's okay, Marco.
Síguele trabajando 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 y ya lo demás.
Dentro con los uppers. Okay. Está bueno.
You be careful with the uppercuts. He's landing with those shots.
Vamos a empezar el sexto round.
Let's go. This is the 6th round. We got to get going.
Muévame poquito en la cintura. Muévame poquito en la cintura.
Óperes y volado.
No cambie de golpe.
Óperes.
Is that the right advice for Barrera? Don't try to knock him out.
That is great advice because in this, they mean don't overcommit with the big punches too much. If you overcommit, that's the best time for a man to hit you.
So they're just saying, let it happen. If it happens, great.
The Letterman scorecard proceeds according to form. Barrera 10, Magana 9, Barrera 10, Magana 9, Barrera 10, Magana 9, and so forth.
If you're going to win a round from Barrera, you're going to have to earn it. He's not going to give it to you.
Takes the kind of spirited effort that Kennedy McKinney was able to put forward. McKinney, a much more skilled fighter than Magana.
Oh, there's another great left hook. The reason Magana keeps getting hit so much with these left hooks is because his right hand is down on his trunks.
Remember earlier, Roy, I said a lot of people think it's the left hook, the left hand, that does better against a southpaw than that inviting opening for a right, or seeming inviting opening.
Well, it certainly can do well if, as Roy points out, the left-handed fighter is keeping his right hand pinned to his trunks like that?
Yes, he can.
How does he expect to defend himself against a left hooker like Barrera with his hand down like that?
I don't understand it.
Barrera doesn't even have to jab to get in against this. He can just fire power shots, as he does there.
As you know, though, he leads with the right hand more than he does the hook, because if he misses with the hook, Magana can counter him with a hook.
And if he goes with the right hand to the body, he's perfectly set up to come back
with the hook
upstairs.
A much more effective punch then. Oh, Barrera turned southpaw. I don't believe it.
Just for a moment, just a tease.
A brief moment. Magana is getting weak.
Yeah, he's starting to get worn down. This gets discouraging after a while, I'm sure.
And he's bleeding from the ridge of the nose now.
Well, I told you that Barrera would bust him up gradually over a period of time.
There's that right hook again.
You got a feel for Jesse Magana, terrific young man, getting the biggest paycheck of his career tonight. It has every potential to be the biggest paycheck he'll ever get in the sport of boxing. He's never had enough money to buy a car or a house. He'd like to do something for his mother.
And he's
raised 9 children.
And he's fighting hard right now.
Well, he is in every way a winning young man, but it's impossible to see how he could win this fight.
He is giving it an effort. I give him an A+ for effort.
We're okay. Don't stand still. He is catching you. He's really popping you. You gotta be in a counter puncher and you gotta be moving. You need to be real quick.
Magana is one of those fighters who holds his left hand low and tries to use it as a hooking weapon or a jabbing weapon from different positions, but against a good fighter like Barrera, it just leaves openings.
Yeah, in Magana's case, you mean his right hand, his lead hand. Yeah.
His right hand, excuse me.
Barrera landed 35 of 56 power shots in round 6, largely because, as Larry Merchant points out, Magana has a habit of holding that lead hand, the right hand, down below his belt.
In a great fighter, that style can be effective. Ali held it low.
Yeah, but
I've known other fighters who've held it low. But you've got to use it more and use it effectively. And since he doesn't use it effectively, he might as well use it to help guard his chin.
That's right.
And you got to have head movement, right, Roy?
Always, always. But if you fight an opposite-handed guy, you best to keep your lead hand up.
As Barrera has done. Now, one big difference in the bout is Barrera is capable of defending himself when Magana mounts an offense. Magana hasn't been nearly as effective at keeping Barrera's leather off of his face.
There he is.
Referee Robert Byrd ruled it a slip.
Second time I see that happen tonight.
That's some slip.
A heck of a slip.
That's the kind of slip that leads to a 2-point round.
Magana is trying to hit Barrera too hard with the left. That's why he can't land it. It takes so long to get it there because he's throwing it with so much power on it. All Barrera does is take a step back because he sees it coming.
Nothing spectacular about Barrera's footwork, just the subtle workmanship of a gym-polished professional.
That was a good left hook by Magana.
very busy boxing period coming up for the remainder of the fall here on HBO. It's going to be exciting to see some of the terrific bouts we've got coming up in the next few months. I'll tell you about one of them in just a moment.
There was that right hook again. And there was the left hook.
How good is this guy? How good is this? He's 22 years old, ladies and gentlemen. 6 nights from tonight, don't miss the rematch between Pernell Whitaker and Wilfredo Rivera. Last time, when they fought on the Caribbean island of San Martin, many thought that Rivera won the fight. This time, Pernell Whitaker says he'll be healthier and readier. It's part of HBO's Miami Weekend Live next Friday night. And of course, I mentioned all the other great fighters active in the sport. Roy Jones, Oscar De La Hoya, Barrera, Larry threw in Felix Trinidad and Ike Corte. Let's not leave out Pernell Whitaker, who promises he'll have some great moments remaining in his career. Here's the slip.
It was a slip with a right hand landing on the chin.
Yet another measure, and we've given you a lot of them, of Barrera's effectiveness here tonight. Customarily, conventional fighters like Barrera have difficulty landing the jab against southpaws. But of course, we've shown you how Magana keeps that right hand low, and as a result, Barrera has landed 57% of his attempted jabs. So that's just one more thing he's doing about as well as you can do it.
And that's why it's so important that you keep your lead hand up on an opposite-handed fighter.
Solid right hand. One more thing Barrera's doing well here, willing to be patient against a fighter that he is beating easily. He has not pressed hard to get the knockout. Like a lot of great knockout punchers, he's waiting to let it come to him.
Part of that comes from that part to where we said earlier, Barrera boxes because he likes it.
So in other words, he feels no enormous need to try to get out of there in a hurry.
No, because he has a chance to show the crowd some more of his skills as long as he's in there. The longer you're in there, the better you can perform. And he's not fighting against an ordinary guy here. This guy has more heart and more courage than a lot of people.
So you enjoyed your 12 rounds with James Toney on November 18, 1994?
Oh, most definitely.
Indicating he's going to load up the left hand. Barrera unfazed.
Which is one of his biggest problems. He keeps trying to load up the left hand, and it's so easy to see it coming when you load it up.
Well, as game as Magana is, again, it's hard to imagine what he could do to reverse the tactical momentum of the bout. He can always hope, of course, that Bob Bird will disqualify Barrera for low blows.
That won't happen.
Well, of course, if you want to get that done, you must fall.
Jab is picking him apart, and he still won't pick his hand up.
I think Magana,
he's hurt.
I think a blow landed in his eye, and he can't see out of the eye because it wasn't that hard of a blow.
Yeah.
You all right, Jesse? Hey, you all right? You want to go on? Do you want to go on? Let's go.
Magana catches a break, apparently blinded in the right eye, perhaps by a thumb, and the bell sounds to relieve him of having to take punches.
All right, Harold, tell us about this shutout.
Larry, 80-71, 8 rounds to nothing. Marco Antonio Barrera, he has to get a 10-8 round when Jesse Magana went down at the end of the 8th round. That's a knockdown, an extra point for
Even if the referee didn't think it was a knockdown?
No, for the one at the end of the round, which the referee did think was a knockdown. That's a knockdown.
Okay, Jesse, you got to get on it now. This is it. All your fans are here. We got to get with it, Jesse. You're far behind.
Are we getting into that territory, Roy, where we have to start thinking about how much more should this kid have to take because he can't win the fight?
Yes, we most certainly are.
Unless it's a knockout and he has shown no ability to land a punch that could really hurt Barrera.
Well, we're in that stage right now, and you heard the realistic estimation of his corner that he's far behind. Certainly that's true, barring some unbelievable discrepancy in the scoring. Larry suggests that the outcome is inevitable and it might be time to begin worrying for Maganya's safety. We should point out, in case you didn't see it, that this is by no means as one-sided as, for instance, the Gabriel Ruelas Jimmy Garcia affair, which led to Garcia's unfortunate death.
No, it's not. And Magana can land a punch that could drop Barrera if he could land it.
He landed a rainbow left over the top right there. No dramatic effect on Barrera. Barrera willing to accept a little more leather from Magana here in the 9th round as he steps in and lands power shots of his own. That the outcome is inevitable, so they wait, as we do, to see precisely what will happen to bring about the climax.
You see right there how easy it is for Barrera to step out the way of the big left from Magana.
Magana very game, Barrera very much in control. Round 9 of a scheduled 12.
He steps his right foot so big when he gets ready to throw the left until everybody knows that it's on the way, and Barrera just simply steps back.
Get to Mayer. All right, the eye. Let's work on the eye.
Jesse, give me the glove. Put la mano por fuera. What happened to the glove? It's good. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong.
Jesse, there's concern that there's something wrong with the hand.
Talk to me. How do you feel?
I feel good.
Feel good?
Yeah, I feel good.
Referee and State Commission doctor both listening carefully at Maganya's corner.
Get off now. Get inside, Jesse, and we got to get going. Don't just stay there receiving punches. You need to punch back. Barrera is landing so many blows. He's getting to you. Let's go, Jesse.
That didn't exactly sound like a pep rally in there, telling him that Barrera is landing all those blows. Who knows better than Magana about how many blows Barrera is landing? Why do you want to remind him when he's got a minute of rest?
Roy, do you always hear what Coach Merck says to you in the corner between rounds, or does some of it just pass by without your paying a whole bunch of attention to it?
Some of it sometimes passes by, but most of the time I'm very alert to everything that he says.
Obviously, it's important for fighters to be able to focus between rounds. But it's tough when somebody's wailing on you the way Barrera is wailing on Magana. And as Larry points out, when somebody then says to you, well, you're taking a lot of punches, you might have a tendency to say, hey, I know that.
Magana can't get close to Barrera. He gets hit. He can't stay outside from Barrera. He gets hit. It's nowhere he can go.
Nope, the whole thing has an air of inevitability. You're watching HBO's Boxing After Dark. One of the most celebrated young stars in the sport going about his work in typically efficient fashion. Marco Antonio Barrera in the white trunks.
Stops it wisely.
Terrific stoppage.
A big left hook.
Textbook stop from Marco Antonio Barrera. A careful look at Magana on the far side of the ring. And Barrera smiles. Guys, did you see it? We almost saw teeth. He flashed something that amounted to a near grin.
Like
there
that.
It is.
My God, he's working on his charisma. He's got his charisma in his fists.
He's taking pleasure from his greatness. Imagine that.
The punches finally wore Magana down.
Yeah, that was just accumulated punishment. And you knew in those last couple of rounds that it was going to happen sometime, right, Roy?
Yeah, you knew it was going to happen. That's what I was saying in the early rounds. If he continues to keep getting hit with the solid shots that he was getting hit with, he's going to wear down.
You know, but if Marco Antonio had gotten impatient and gone for an early knockout, then it wouldn't have looked like that.
No, it wouldn't have, because he wouldn't have worked his body like he should have. The accumulation wouldn't have been as good because he couldn't land the hard punches as easy as he can land the mediocre ones.
Can you envision your good buddy Kennedy McKinney winning a fight against this guy?
It's tough. I think Kennedy can, but he would have to go into seclusion, train hard for about 2.5 to 3 months, come out with nothing on his mind but beating Marco Antonio Barrera.
And fight the fight of his life. And we may get a chance to see McKinney attempt to do just that as both fighters get their business done tonight. McKinney in less spectacular fashion with the 10-round decision over his opponent, Nestor Lopez. And now here is the finish of this one.
There you see Barrera set him up with that same looping right hand, make him try so hard to defend it, and then hit him with a good left hook. That's what that looping right hand does. It opens up other shots, it opens up the left hook, and there's no way you can avoid it.
And let's go to Michael Buffer to finish this one off.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 1 minute 56 seconds of round number 10. Referee Robert Byrd calls a halt. The winner and still the undefeated WBO junior featherweight champion of the world, the baby-faced assassin, Marco Antonio Barrera.